This is Inside the Crew, your weekly look at all things black and gold. Here's your host, Neil Sika and Dwight Burgess.
Tuesday night salutations. It's Inside the Crew. Sika solo sessions. What a great intro this song is. True story. In Portland, 2011, homeless guy on the street, and I'm walking by to go to some food trucks. And he stops me and he goes, "Hey man, do you believe in Sammy Hagar?" And I said yes, and it caught him by surprise. He was referencing the Van Halen, Sammy Hagar era. You can enjoy them both. Just like we enjoyed Thursday and the groundbreaking of the new downtown stadium. What a day. Basking in the sunshine. We'll talk about that. Got a great show for you. Many players were there. Artur was one of them. And the Brazilian who has kindly assented with his speaking of the English language will join us for the second time this year. And we'll talk about that and his plans for the offseason. He just got married. Good stuff. MLS playoffs begin this Saturday. Knockout round action. Very exciting. We all wish the Crew was there. They are not, so we'll watch with mild interest. Kyle McCarthy, Boston Herald, New England Soccer Journal, coming up in the next segment to preview those matchups. And our great friend, I was thinking about this on the drive over here. How many MLS original teams have a historian who can go back through the annals? And the Crew have a few of them, but this guy is the alpha dog. Steve Sirk has a brand new book out. He's in studio with us. A Massive Collection, Volume 1. It's his third book. Volume 1, folks, means there's going to be a Volume 2. He's here. I'm going to say hi. How are you?
Oh, good. How are you?
It's great to see you. Yeah. We'll get to this in a little bit, but pretty awesome day Thursday, huh?
Yeah, it's incredible. Just a beautiful day, perfect event. And the scene was just lovely. You had the stage and the video screen, and to the right you had the downtown skyline. To the left you had the goals and the corner flags set up where they're going to be in 2 years, and it was just a picture-perfect day.
Makeshift Nordeca put up there, too, by the stage. Colin, you were there. What did you think of the day?
I was. You know, at one point I kind of wondered if the little area we had available to us to have everybody pack into was going to be too small, because the line of people that were just lining up on the sidewalks going down the street. It was incredible.
7:30 in the morning is when people started getting in line.
Oh, it was incredible. I could not believe how many people were waiting in that line when I pulled up.
And now the mini shovel market on eBay is at an all-time high. Those are pretty cool. It was a great day. Kyle Martino did a great job as the host. And good to see a lot of familiar faces and fans celebrating a day many thought they'd never see, to be quite honest. 2 years removed from that announcement that really sunk the city. But we're all better for it. And a lot of things to look forward to, including the product on the field starting in 2020. So mentioning that official groundbreaking, gain priority towards seat selection. Don't wait. Join the wait list. Of course, you'll be waiting, but join the wait list for the new stadium. Visit crewstadium.com for more information. And you can also go and get more info at 614-447-CREW or columbuscrewsc.com today. You also get priority if you get a 2020 season, full season membership. So you get the new downtown stadium priority, the best prices on home matches, and so much more. We've got so much more coming with Steve Sirk. He'll talk about this new book and the collection of stories. Got a hard copy and a paperback edition. Man, you spare no expense. I love it. Good stuff. We'll talk playoffs again with Kyle McCarthy coming up, but midfielder Artur, who started the final 12 games of 2019 and has been a part of this Columbus midfield the last several seasons, starting with Greg Berhalter, starting to find his groove, not only on the soccer field, but in life as well, and was part of the festivities on Thursday, speaking with us on the momentous occasion. One of the many Crew players that was at the stadium groundbreaking this past Thursday was Artur. He was so exceptional. Perfeito is what they say. Perfect in Portuguese. When he came on earlier with his English interview, which lasted a good 10 minutes. Artur joining us here on Inside the Crew. How you doing, Artie?
I'm good. Thank you for having me again.
Pretty exciting last week with your teammates to see where you guys are going to be playing in the summer of 2021. What were your thoughts on the day's events? And I know with all the stuff that's gone on in the last couple of years to keep the team here, it was pretty special for, I'm sure, the players too who were a part of all of this.
Yeah, for sure. It was amazing to be there and see all the new planning, the new stadium, the new stuff, the new stadium that the new owners are doing, and like the new people here. It was amazing too. I got a little bit emotional with the video that I saw and seeing all the fans over there and like all the support and all the situation we passed in the last 2 years, and it was just amazing.
Artur, the guest here on Inside the Crew. I think of your playoff goal against New York City and how loud and boisterous and passionate that crowd was that night against New York City, and you could probably envision with the roof and how this new stadium will come to be the atmosphere that you'll have on a game-in, game-out basis. Did that make you think about that moment specifically for you, which was a special one, but how great the crowd was and how great it's going to be down there?
Yeah, for sure. I always catch myself thinking about that, and it's gonna be amazing. Have the space for the fans and can hear how loud they can be. And I always watch the video, my goal, and it is amazing, how it sounds and it can touch any player. And I'm excited to see how it's gonna be, how bad it's gonna be also.
Artur, the guest here on Inside the Crew. When you've seen the pictures, you speak of the videos that they've put out, and they're beautiful renderings of the stadium. What excites you the most as a player about the amenities you may have at the stadium, and what may provide you as an athlete for when this thing is built?
Yeah, I think it is very nice. The location we're gonna have, it's a pretty nice location in downtown, and also the spaces they are building, they are making for the fans. And I think it's going to be amazing. The fans can have together, and all of the new things. It's going to be a very new stadium, all the technology and all the planning they have. And I think I'm looking forward for that. I'm very excited to see everything. I just can't wait to see it.
Artur, the guest here on Inside the Crew. One more question on stadium stuff. Growing up in the Sao Paulo Academy and just the history of Brazil, these stadiums have been in place for a long time, and in a league like Major League Soccer, which continues to grow, and we see the requirements for having a new franchise is to build a new facility. Do you find that interesting? All your life you're used to these old cathedrals of the game, and now you get all these brand new shiny buildings that have popped up over the league. It's kind of a nice thing to have.
Yeah, for sure. It has been a new thing for me. Like you said, in Brazil, there is no it's not a usual thing to happen. And here I can see it is part of the game because the league is growing a lot, and it's not our case, but new teams are coming. But I think it's a little bit of our case because we have a new era coming in, the new owners, new people that want to do better things for the club. And for me, it is very good to see it and to learn about it. And it is. I think it is very important. I think it's a good thing to always improve, and I think that's what we are doing.
Midfielder Artur, the guest here on Inside the Crew. I know the season ended with the loss to Toronto FC, but overall results in 11 of the last 13 games. So excitement building towards 2020 and the way you guys played. I know as a player you always want to be on the field, and so you're wishing you're in the playoffs. But did you feel that this unit kind of came together as a group these last 2 months of the season, despite not making the playoffs?
Yes, I think so. It wasn't the season we expected, how it was going to be. But I think in the last months, I think we as a group, we saw what we can do, and like we showed everybody also. And we lost time, like in the middle of the season, like we lost very important points. We had a rough games, but the last months like showed us what we can achieve and how strong we can be. And I think everybody's excited to see how the next season is gonna be, because we think we're gonna be very, very strong. We're gonna be a different team, and I think it is a good thing to be excited of.
Midfielder Artur, our guest on Inside the Crew, winding down the season with us. Will you watch the playoffs? Are you excited to take a look at the matchups this weekend?
Yeah, for sure. I will turn it on. I watch all the games, and I'm excited to see how it's going to be.
We're going to do playoff predictions with Artur. Let's start in the Eastern Conference. Who do you like as the favorite to maybe go to the final?
I don't know. I think the New York City.
Yeah, New York City. As long as they're not playing on a baseball field.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're doing well.
And then in the West?
I think LAFC did a very good season, but I don't know. I think
someone could have come up and bite them, like the Galaxy, maybe.
Yeah. I think if they catch the Galaxy in their way, I don't know. It's gonna be tough for them.
Yeah, that's a sound prediction. Yeah. New York City, LAFC. Of course, with the knockout, with the one game, anything can happen. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when the playoffs kick off this weekend. All right, let's talk personal life. You got married. You're going to spend and see snow during the holidays in Ohio. Your wife, Rachel's from Reynoldsburg. Congratulations on that. We had spoken about it when you were last on the show, but how's married life treating you?
It's doing very good. Yeah, we are very happy. And to be honest, not changed it very much.
Right.
We are doing very well. It is amazing. It's amazing to have somebody that is special by our side, and she made me feel very comfortable here. She's making me do not miss home very much, because sometimes we get homesick, but having her by my side, it's helping me a lot.
Oh, that's beautiful. Simple but elegant in its brevity. Artur, the guest here on Inside the Crew. Do you have a honeymoon planned?
Not yet. We're planning to go to Brazil in the off season to visit my family, and the honeymoon we are kind of seeing the best place and the best thing to do yet.
Honeymoon coming up. Getting away to Brazil. How else will you spend some of your downtime this off season?
I think we're just gonna go see my family for 1 month and take the advantage, the best we can do over there, and then come back.
Get to the beach.
Yeah, get to the beach, and it's always summer over there, and it's gonna be amazing to spend this time.
Excellent. Muy perfecto, my friend. Great job again. Thanks for joining the show, and enjoy the off season, Artur. Thanks for this.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys.
You got it, buddy. That's midfielder Artur. Good stuff from the Brazilian. We'll come back. Kyle McCarthy, Boston Herald, New England Soccer Journal, will break down these playoff matchups for you on Inside the Crew, 97.1 The Fan.
Back to Inside the Crew. Here's Neil Sika and Dwight Burgess.
Welcome back. No Dwight tonight. Off on Wittenberg duties. MLS playoffs get going this weekend after the FIFA International window. Of course, all the excitement around the CONCACAF Nations League. U.S. and Canada currently in action right now, but recording this a little bit earlier in the day, and we speak with our good friend from the Boston Herald, New England Soccer Journal, Kyle McCarthy, back on the show. I think we last spoke to him in July, so it's long overdue, and we've got to talk some playoffs. How you doing, Kyle?
I'm doing great. You know, this is a wonderful time of the year. We got football back, and now we got the MLS playoffs. We're in great shape.
Football, penalties, VAR, MLS playoffs. Yeah, it all blends together. It's good to have. So thanks for this. Let's start Eastern Conference as we have this knockout round format, which I think has been welcomed just with the finality of the one-game system and not having the confusion of playing a knockout round game a couple of days after the end of decision day and then going into conference semifinals and conference championships, two-legged affairs. Do you like the format?
You know, I think it's simpler than in the past. I mean, it's MLS. You know, give it another year or two, and I'm sure it'll change again. But I think for the way the league is now, I think it makes a lot of sense to condense it a little bit and really up the stakes, and you'll certainly get that now. Let's start.
Number one seeds get by, so that's New York City and LAFC. We're going to start in the East. Atlanta, New England, the 2-7 matchup. You cover the Revs on a regular basis. This was a decision day game in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, so they're right back there. It was close for a while. Atlanta ends up winning that game 3-1. Bruce Arena's no stranger to playoff success. Atlanta's got a healthy Joseph Martinez. Is there a little bit of a wrench in here with the Revs making some adjustments? How do you think this game plays out?
You know, it's a little awkward for both teams because they just played on decision day, and you don't really know how that's going to impact the second meeting, right? You know, with Bruce Arena at the helm for the Revs, there's always a chance of a wrench, you know, going into that game. And, you know, a little tweak here or a little something there that could shift the balance. It'll be certainly an interesting one to watch.
New England's in the playoffs for the first time since 2015. I've got to say, they're hungry to win, as every team is, but it's an accomplishment in itself when you start 2-8-2 to make the postseason, and you're going up against the defending champs. You never know what might happen in a one-off. Who are you taking in this?
Yeah, I like Atlanta to get through. I think the Revs have done a fantastic job just to get into the postseason for all the reasons you said. But I think this is a really tough ask for them, and I think Atlanta United will find a way through.
Saturday, 1 o'clock on Univision. Atlanta hosting New England. That's the 2-7 matchup. The 4-5 is Toronto, D.C. That's Saturday at 6 p.m., and these teams basically flip-flop spots on the last day of the regular season because D.C. couldn't score against 9-man Cincinnati at home, and it ends scoreless. So the defense has been airtight. Hamid's in the running for goalkeeper of the year, and then you got Pozuelo. Is Altidore going to be healthy enough to get into the mix? Toronto's a team that could score 4 and go on this run, or they could give up 4 just on a daily basis the way that defense is. How do you like the 4-5 matchup?
It's intriguing for sure because Toronto is so unpredictable. That being said, DC, for me, in the wake of Wayne Rooney's decision to leave at the end of the season, has really been all over the map. And I think not being able to host that game at Audi Field is going to be decisive for him. It's a really tough ask to go into BMO and get a result. I really like TFC in this one.
All right, Toronto the 4, DC the 5 at 6 o'clock on Saturday. And then the other matchup this weekend in the East is the 3-6. Philadelphia, which scampered to the finish line, lost their last 2 games to Columbus and New York City. Red Bulls team, maybe flying under the radar a bit. They didn't have the season they had, at least the last couple of years, when they were in Supporters' Shield contention. It's been a big loss and a big replacement without Tyler Adams. BWP isn't the same. The striker position, where the goal's going to come from, is the tenacity there with their press. How do you see this fit with Philadelphia hosting the game Sunday at 3 o'clock?
Yeah, if you're looking at the totality of this season, then Philadelphia should find a way to get through, right? They've been the better team over the course of the campaign, and they've really relied on their collective strength. The difficulty in these one-off games is that you need a difference maker, and no one's quite sure if Philadelphia, for as good as they've been this season, has the individual who can make a difference in a game like this, and that's what makes this so fraught for them, even though they're at home.
Are you taking Philly or New York?
I'm going to take Philly. That's a show of faith in what they've been able to do this season, but this is probably the one that stands out as the most likely upset. Okay,
so you got Philly, you got Toronto, you got Atlanta, all home teams holding serve, and of course, that's the beauty of why you play for the home field advantage, to take advantage of that in a single-game situation. Let's move to the West. LAFC is idle. 3:30 Saturday, Seattle hosting Dallas. This is the 2 versus 7. Sounders kind of quietly going about their business, somehow end up in the 2 spot, yet they could be a little bit fragile defensively. No more Chad Marshall. You don't have a true ball winner like Ozzie Alonso. Jordan Morris has had a great season. Rui Diaz has kind of been on a milk cart in the last 5 games. And then Dallas, another team that's probably happy to be there with their young group. They're much better at home than they are on the road. How do you see this one shaking out, the 2-7 Seattle-Dallas?
You know, that limp to the finish line for everybody in the bottom third of that Western Conference playoff race was ugly, and it's a hard ask for FC Dallas to go in with their team to try and upset Seattle. Sounders have been here before. They understand what the requirements are, and it has been a little patchy at times for them, but I think with Nicolas Lodero and the strength in the team, I think they'll find a way to get through.
Yeah, they've got the better players. They should win. 3:30 on Fox on Saturday. 3-6 in the West is RSL and Portland. Portland doesn't seem where they play in the postseason matters, even though all these home games at the end of the regular season cause for concern with the way their efficiency is in front of goal. RSL, some thought of them as a sexy pick maybe a few weeks ago. There's young talent, but there's inconsistency. So how do you see this 3-6 matchup?
You know, Portland was in a position where they should have probably finished higher than this in the table. They got a little complacent with that run of home games and didn't churn out the results they should. And this is a wake-up call for them because it's going to be difficult to go into Sandy and get a result. RSL is good at home. That being said, I think Portland's a better team, and I think they are well positioned to maybe pull the upset here.
The viewing sets up great for you when you want to check that Holy Cross score late on Saturday night on ESPN News. You'll stumble upon where this MLS game is being played at 10 p.m., RSL and Portland. And then finally on Sunday in the West, here's Minnesota playing at Allianz Field. They have a home game. They're in the postseason for the first time. And the LA Galaxy, the enigma that is Zlatan's team, and how they gave up 8 goals combined to Houston and Vancouver the last 2 weeks and blew a home playoff spot, but yet they've got the talent that could carry them to a championship if they get hot. I just don't see it the way they defend and are so inconsistent. And there's Minnesota, who is going to try and lock you down and find any way possible through. So this is one of the games I've got my eye on, 8:30 on ESPN on Sunday. What do you see?
Yeah, this is as close to a home playoff trap game as you're ever going to get.
Right.
Because if you're Minnesota, you've done really well to get a home playoff game. It's going to be your first. And on the other side, you have to deal with Zlatan. And if there's one thing we know about Zlatan, it's that he comes out for the big games. And I would be surprised to see him struggle in that game, even with as well as Minnesota has played defensively. And I think the Galaxy are positioned here maybe to pull the upset and put themselves in a position to really test somebody else in the conference semifinals.
All right, great stuff. Before I let you go, LAFC, New York City will join in the following round. Who's your pick for the final and who wins it?
Yeah, I think LAFC has been the best team this year, and I think they'll go through to lift MLS Cup. If you're looking for a team to come out of the East, I like NYCFC and the way they've been playing. I think they're the best situated right now.
As long as they don't trip over one of the pitchers' mounds at the respective stadiums, they should be good. Kyle McCarthy, Boston Herald, New England Soccer Journal. Always great talking to you, Kyle. Thanks so much for the time. We'll catch you down the road, my friend.
Thanks for having me. You have a good one.
Kyle McCarthy, our guest here on Inside the Crew. Stay in your seats, wherever you may be. A Massive Collection, Volume 1. We'll talk about Steve Sirk's new book. Crew historians in studio with us. Coming up next on Inside the Crew.
Get it.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Metro Heating and Air and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Back to Inside the Crew. Here's Neil Sika and Dwight Burgess.
Halloween's coming. So I'm with a good friend and colleague the other night, Tom Reed, and he had an inkling to grab as much Count Chocula as possible. The monster cereals come out around Halloween. Are you a Count Chocula guy?
No, not specifically me. No.
Boo Berry, Frankenberry. Kind of become obsessed. I bought 2 king-size or family-size boxes of Boo Berry and Frankenberry, and I'm scarfing it down. So happy monster cereal eating and Halloween season to everyone. Are you a big Halloween guy?
I mean, obviously when I was younger, but I mean, once you get to this point, not really.
Sure, people do the party stuff, and I went to a bad party a couple of years ago. I went as Eddie Vedder because my hair was long and I had some flannel, and it was a pretty simple costume, but it's not for me. I don't put the effort into the get-up. Speaking of putting effort into something, in studio with us, good friend, my Slovenian brother, crew historian Steve Sirk, who has his 3rd book out, coming just in time for the holiday season. It makes a great stocking stuffer, and it is really a book every crew fan should have. If you've already read A Massive Season, the 2008 championship story, Kirk Urso, Forever Massive, and now A Massive Collection, Volume 1. He's on the book tour like Kramer in his book about coffee tables. No Sonia Live or Regis and Kathy, just me. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to see you. This has a collection of stories going back to 1997 from your Sirk's blog days on the team website. What was the inspiration in putting this out and gathering all these collections of great memories from the club?
Yeah, I think I actually first announced this book maybe a little over 2 years ago on this program.
Yeah, on this show.
A lot of things happened since then. Yeah. But just the idea is, that this club has a lot of great history, and thought was to kind of, you don't want that stuff to kind of fall through the cracks, and it's just good to kind of tell these stories and kind of make them a little more permanent. That sometimes you write things online that are just kind of ephemeral, and websites go away, or things just kind of fall through the cracks over the years, and so I just kind of want to celebrate the history of this club, especially now that we were at the groundbreaking on Thursday, and
exactly.
There's going to be a lot of history to build in the decades to come. So
I was talking to you right in the first segment. We just got a quick hello and capturing the day's memories, and just kind of awestruck that turnout of just under 5,000 people watching this thing. You were at the groundbreaking in '98, were you not?
Yes.
What do you remember from that day?
I really don't remember a whole lot about it. I mean, I remember kind of just parking.
And Dwight said that too. It was very.
It certainly wasn't. It wasn't it wasn't as huge an event as
right.
I mean, this was quite the production. I mean, a flawless production at that. Back in '98, I mean, I remember we just kind of parked on some grass, and there was a little dirt area. They had I think there was a big inflatable crew soccer ball and some black and gold balloons. And I mean, I know people gave some remarks, but it wasn't a whole lot of pomp and circumstance. I just, what I remember most is just the feeling that wow, we're going to have a soccer stadium, and the crew is going to be here to stay, and MLS is going to be here to stay. And, because at that time, the whole thing, it was so early in the league, you didn't know if the league was going to last, or, the crew were, facing difficulties with the renovations at Ohio Stadium. So you didn't know if they were even going to be able to stay in town, just because, just for lack of a place to play. So, to build that stadium, I remember it was kind of such a relief at the time. And then it was also kind of blazing the path forward for the league. And now, what is this? I think Don Garber at the ceremony said this is can be the 20th Mm-hmm. Our new one's going to be the 20th stadium in the league,
which is incredible to think.
So it all stems from that, that very first one.
And the Crew had two of
Mafre
those.
Stadium. Yeah.
Steve Sirk is in studio. A Massive Collection, Volume 1 is his new book. Stories going back over the last 20-some years of the club. Of course, season 25 of MLS and the Columbus Crew will be in 2020. We're both Cleveland guys. I can surely remember when Progressive Field, or Jacobs Field as it's known still to many, was built and invigorated downtown Cleveland and kind of started this whole renaissance. You already have a great building here in Nationwide Arena and Huntington Park, and this kind of completes the arena district, but it may be unlike any of the structures that we've seen not only across Major League Soccer, but within the city's confines. I think now you get this evolution of what Columbus wants to become, and the Crew are kind of leading the charge in that.
Yeah, that kind of fly-in video that they showed, I mean, that was, goosebumps.
I was standing right by next to the guy in the back who put that together, and he's like, that's all me. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was goosebumps. I mean, if you can't get excited, it's seeing that and what's to come. And I'll tell you, on Thursday, I actually kind of walked over to Nationwide, just to kind of, I wanted to kind of just get a sense of what this is going to be like, and kind of envisioning, okay, like once the Confluence Village project is complete and the stadium's there, and I mean, and really that walk to the Nationwide Arena was maybe 10 minutes. It was like no different than any walk I would make going to an Indians game in Cleveland.
Right.
So as I was walking it, I was just kind of picturing like this kind of river of black and gold fans, like, walking toward the new stadium, and I can't wait.
Massive Collection, Volume 1 is the new book from Steve Sirk. You've read his Sirk's Notebooks for years on just great stuff inside the locker room and the history of the Columbus Crew. And I'm looking in here. I flipped right open to the Scoreboard Fire. What are some of your favorite stories within this this collection of work?
Yeah, it was kind of a challenge because there's obviously, we're talking about over 2 decades of history, and I figured kind of the best way to go about it would be to kind of group it into subjects. So there's like a section that's just like player features, everything from, Frankie Haydock giving his MLS Cup ring to a girl that got injured fell at the stadium and broke her arm.
Yes.
He gave his ring to her to take to the hospital to kind of distract her, from her injury. The story of Josh Williams, being in class at Cleveland State and getting a phone call from Brian Bliss, like, hey, we may need to sign you to a contract in the next 2 hours or something, so that's how Josh Williams, he ends up, playing for the Crew, and he's still here to this day. I mean, brief detour with New York City and Toronto, but, so just stories like that, kind of player focused stories. As you mentioned, there's there's a section, what I call like surreal events or something. So there was the pitch invasion in 1996 when everybody ran on it. We scored 2 goals in the final 3 minutes to beat New England 3-2. It was the 3rd home game ever, and the fans all just ran onto the field at Ohio Stadium, and it was kind of amazing just because it was only the 3rd home game ever,
right?
And it was like, wow, people actually care. It's so new that you didn't think people would be that worked up about it yet because the team had just literally started.
It was like the Chris Chambliss home run in 1976 to win the pennant.
Yeah, so then kind of the Scoreboard Fire. So some events like that, also like big events like when we hosted MLS Cup 2015 or won the Open Cup in 2002. I think some of the stuff I wrote about some of the Dos Acero games, big events like that, kind of look back at some of the people, some of the family members we've lost along the way. So there's a section in there just called Founders Park because, one of the things I like to do every time I'm at the stadiums, go to the front of the stadium and visit the Lamar Hunt statue and the Kirk Urso Memorial and the Tom Fitzgerald Memorial. So I kind of wrote some things about all of them. There's a whole new chapter on Lamar Hunt. That's one of 3 completely new pieces for the book. So it's a good 16 pages on, just Lamar Hunt stories from, relating to the Crew. So it kind of just runs the gamut of just various subjects and just kind of fun stories or interesting stories. Just to kind of, like I said, just kind of celebrate the rich history of this club. It's what everyone fought for, and it's what we get to build on in the decades to come in the new stadium.
And your writing, always factual, but great for a laugh or a tear. And A Massive Collection, Volume 1, I'm sure is going to deliver that. We'll come back with Steve Sirk, get a final thought from him, and put a bow on the show as you're listening to Inside the Crew, 97.1 The Fan.
Back to Inside the Crew. Here's Neil Sika and Dwight Burgess.
We are on the night train, almost 10 o'clock. Welcome back. Steve Sirk is in studio as we're winding down this latest version of Inside the Crew after tonight. Just 2 more shows for the 2019 season, then a little time off, and we'll be back soon enough, knowing that the regular season is going to start at the end of February 2020. It's not the Champions League. That's going to be crazy to think about an MLS season starting. Well, got Major League Baseball and the Indians playing the first weekend in March, or the end of March, so I guess nothing's out of the question. But it's a good thing there'll be a roof at the new building.
Yes. You think it's for rain, but it might be for snow.
That's true. That's true. A Massive Collection, Volume 1, just in time for the holidays. Crew historian Steve Sirk with this brand new book, his third, after a massive season talking about the 2008 championship and then Kirk Urso Forever Massive. Okay, so great holiday gift idea. How do Crew fans go about obtaining this great piece of work?
Well, right now we're doing an exclusive pre-sale through the Nordecke, through their website at nordecke.com. And part of the proceeds from that will go to Gladden House, which benefits the Franklinton community and surrounding communities.
Oh, great.
So we're doing that pre-sale through October 24th. And then we'll be doing, the Nordecke will be having an event at Endeavor Brewing on November 16th on that Saturday.
Am I invited to that?
Yeah.
All right.
Come on down. So anyone, who pre-orders has the option to just pick up their book there at that event on November 16th, and you'll be signing books, or you can request to have it mailed. And then the week of Thanksgiving, it'll be available like on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, stuff like that. It'll hit retail stores. But we're doing the pre-sale first through the Nordecke, try to raise some money, for Columbus causes.
Great cause. Good stuff. Go to nordecke.com for the pre-sale of A Massive Collection Volume 1. And if you're looking for the latest black and gold merchandise, Crew Shop offers the best selection of team apparel, including authentic and replica jerseys. It's open Monday through Friday, 10 to 5, talking about all this holiday hoopla coming up, and you need gifts and stocking stuffers. So you got a book, you got the Crew Shop, a lot to get that black and gold fan on your list for the holiday season. And again, one more reminder, Priority Access, new downtown stadium. Go to crewstadium.com. All it takes is $50 to join the priority wait list. You wanted to say something else about the pre-sale? Or okay. I wanted to say congrats, because the last time we had you on the show, of course, your now wife, Beth, and lovely fiance at the time, we were talking about our tour, just getting married. How's married life treating you?
Oh, married life is great.
Yeah. We got to congratulate Tim Miller, too. Crew Director of Communications, yes. Him and lovely wife Caitlin, who's always a fixture at Crew games. So congrats to the happy couple. It was great to see them at an establishment late into the night on Saturday, celebrating their nuptials. So congrats to them, and congrats to you on a third book. It's something I know. Knowing you put a lot of heart and soul into, and it always comes out great. I love reading this stuff. And it's a great history lesson for a great club.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much.
All right. Steve Sirk, Crew historian. A Massive Collection, Volume 1 is the book. Colin already has gone on nordecke.com and ordered his first copy, and I'm sure to do so right after this show concludes. So a lot of good stuff on the program this week. As we wind down this 2019 season, we'll have more on the playoffs starting next week when we get in towards the conference semifinals. By the way, since you're in the studio, I might as well say who you got in the MLS Cup and who you picking to win it.
Well, I feel like, I'm kind of echoing everybody else's picks when you say, if you just kind of look at it, it's going to be LAFC and New York City, and probably LAFC winning. But this is MLS, so you never know.
Yeah, there's going to be something that goes haywire.
Yeah, it can't just go straight by seeding, right? Something's going to happen. But you'd be hard pressed to pick against LAFC at this point.
It's true, and I took them in the West. I'm on record telling Ricardo Clark this. We were talking about the playoffs, and I said DC United was going to get all the way to the final, but they can't score, and they don't let anybody score on them. But now that they flipped the narrative and don't have a home game, I will stand by that prediction. I said LAFC DC, and LAFC wins it, but we have a nice little wager going there, just a fun little wager, but that could be completely out of the element after this weekend with Toronto FC at home. They could win it. LA could win it. Who knows? Minnesota sneaks into the final. That's what makes the playoffs beautiful. And I know you are a playoff guy. This is America. We should celebrate the one-game system, not this aggregate total goal stuff.
Oh, yeah, I love it. I love it because, with the aggregate goals, like the first game's just kind of the first half of a long game, and
right.
You don't know if that game's going to matter so much, or maybe the second game doesn't matter so much, and you got to explain away goals and like all this stuff. Whereas this, every game is intense, and you're going to have a result that day. And I think, kind of compressing it in between the international windows too. I think you'll actually have momentum and drama, and I think it's a much improved setup.
Good way to conclude. Steve, thanks so much for coming in, buddy. Great stuff here.
It was fun. Thanks for having me.
A Massive Collection, Volume 1. Is the new book from Steve Sirk. Nordeca.com for the pre-sale. Check that out. Thanks to CB, Colin Behringer for producing, you for listening, Artur and Kyle McCarthy, our guests as well. We'll talk to you next week with another edition of Inside the Crew, 97.1 The Fan. Have a good night, everyone.